Give me your best Caruso story. Come on now.
David Caruso? You're obsessed with Caruso, right?
Are you kidding me? Why wouldn't I be? Who isn't obsessed with him?
I love Caruso. I really do. I mean, I took him into a pitch one time. He wrote this show called Good Cop, Bad Cop.
He wrote it.
He wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had seen, I did a pilot one year for the WB, and he came to the taping, and he was moved. We should have got picked up, whatever. We got some girl with big breasts got picked up over us. Now, still very sore with me, because this was a great show I did. It was called Nick. It didn't have a great title. You need a good title.
Yes.
Like the one I'm trying to sell now has a good title. I have a new show called Band of Idiots. That's a good title.
That's a great title.
You know, the Nick show was not a good title, but it was a really like a modern day All in the Family. And Caruso, came to the taping,
and he was moved.
He was moved, with the red hair. He was like, Nick, you surprised me. He was like, he always used to compliment me. Because at the beginning, when I wasn't sure when I first started with him, I'd be like, I only had a line here, a line there. I'd be like, Dave, am I okay? He was like, you're beautiful. Beautiful. Don't let anybody mess with you. I said, what? Don't let anybody mess with you. Yeah. So we went and did a pitch at like UTA, and I had, I started knowing how to do these pitches, and it was his show. He wrote it. So I went in the room and I went wild on the agent. I was like, what do you bring to the table? I brought Caruso. I brought the script. I went wild on it. And these guys, and he was like loving it. The agent was like, you better back down. I said, don't tell me to back down. I said, you're not bringing, nothing to the table. And so Caruso goes, who would have thought that Turturro was the bad guy? He loved it that I went out on a limb for him.
Yeah.
And he just sat back, and he was like, man, you are one piece of work, and but then, the guy got on CSI and he was like, hey, Dave, can you throw me a bone or whatever? I was like, I called him up and I go, they're doing a spinoff, Dave. Oh, they are? I go, what do you mean they are? Come on, so I loved Caruso. I still love him, but, Caruso is for Caruso. He told me a funny story about De Niro, that De Niro reamed him on Mad Dog and Glory. He said he didn't like me. I said, why? Because he probably tried to step on, De Niro, Bob's toe. I mean, you're not going to push a guy like that around. That ain't going to happen. So he took him in the corner and he goes, you are effing this movie. You are so over the top.
Says what De Niro says to him?
He's telling Caruso that. He put him in the corner. But Caruso's really good in the movie. He's like really good in Mad Dog. I mean, he played a great cop.
Yeah.
I was watching an old Caruso movie the other night, China Girl, and he's good in it. Him and James Russo. I love the guy. We had great chemistry together. We had this other movie that we were going to do that he found.
Yeah.
And it never got made, but it was like a dark comedy. Because me and him, I still think could be fireworks. I don't know what it is. I'm dark. He's got red hair. We're both from Queens. Maybe that's it.
He's from Queens? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Malloy guy. You know Malloy? Archbishop Malloy.
Sure, yeah. I didn't know that.
The famous Jack Curran?
Look, I'm obsessed with David Caruso.
Me too.
Everything about it.
Me too.
When we had our show open for the Super Bowl in Miami.
Did he come out?
Not him. No. Put it up on the screen. Who's that?
This?
That's me.
That's you?
That's me.
That's pretty good, Rich.
That's me.
Do you imitate him?
Oh, damn straight.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a lot of fun.
It was funny. We were still with DirecTV and AT&T, and the group that puts these opens together says, we have two choices for your open that we've come up with for the Super Bowl in Miami.
Right.
The first one is a version of CSI Miami where you play Caruso, and I just stopped him right there. I'm like, I don't care what your other idea is. That's the one we're doing.
I'm doing it. Can you give me a line?
And we got, look at me right there.
I know, but I want to hear one line. Can you
one of the lines? I'm like, what was, geez, I forget now.
Oh, man, I don't remember either.
I think, I think it's something like this is going into overtime. Something like that. Like, yeah. Well, we obviously we couldn't afford the Who music.
Yeah.
We got Rex Lynn to do his role too.
Wow.
We got the whole thing, man.
He didn't make eye contact in that show much, right? He never really looked at the other guy.
No.
But his glasses on
his signature maneuver, though.
That's brilliant.
His signature maneuver was to deliver the line. So many people would take off the glasses and deliver the line. He would put the glasses on and to deliver the line. That was the next level Caruso.
It is
maneuver.
It's an exaggerated Caruso, but I think it's brilliant. He wanted to be Steve McQueen. That's the problem. But there's only one Steve McQueen.
That's right.
McQueen's pretty cool. Caruso's cool too.
Caruso's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool.
He's
you know,
pretty
we used to
cool.
go to lunch together, hang out together in his trailer. Taught me how to smoke cigars. It's like, what's the matter with the rest of these guys here, Nick? They're not like you. I was like, yeah, they're not. But, you know, I love you, Dave. You know, let's just take it easy. I go, don't quit the show. I pleaded with him. I go, that's a mistake, Dave. You don't throw a character like one of the great
Yeah,
TV guys.
Bochco. And Bochco, the whole bit, too.
Steve Bochco was behind them to a point. You know, you didn't see James Gandolfini get rid of Tony Soprano in 1 year.
Yeah, he was lucky he got another big show after that.
my gosh.
Oh, my God. Somebody's looking out for him.
Yeah.
Because when you throw that away, you're never going to get another shot like that.
Exactly.
So he was a very lucky man. Yeah. Should count his blessings. I don't have that kind of luck. But what are you going to do? That's Caruso.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.